So I'm back in Venice Beach. Um, Gladly, we left the 104-degree weather to come back to high 70s. All right. So I gotta hold this. You guys caught me in. Although this was scheduled, my life sometimes is still unmanageable, and I run a little late to things. But here we are. Um, is the mic picking up wind? You guys okay with this? Tori in New York City, my man. Let's see. So, the last things that is the mic okay for everybody? Can anybody let me know? All right, beautiful. So I have the beautiful Megan in here moderating for me. Daniel did it for me this morning. Um, I had some amazing questions earlier. Solo Sinner, my man. I had some amazing, I thought, incredible questions earlier. And I've had a little more time to think about one. One was asked about struggles as a man, and it was kind of a lot as an abrupt question. It was kind of a lot, but I've been thinking about it, and I just remember growing up, um, my the way that I felt about things. I cared a lot about people, and I didn't want to hurt people, and I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. But as a man growing up, aggression. I played sports and stuff. Aggression was kind of encouraged, and that was kind of weird for me. That's just kind of as a the struggle of a man growing up in society. Good evening, Brad, my man. Mesa, Arizona, Michigan, Brochacho, uh, Ontario, Canada. I love that. All right, we got people from all over the place. San Diego. I'm going to San Diego. That's a cool thing. So Tuesday, I'm driving down to San Diego. I'm actually really excited about. I'm going to interview my friend. I grew up with this kid. He's a dude. He's a man. I grew up with this man. His name's Steve Moy. He was on season 14 of Married at First Sight, and so I'm gonna interview him. I think it'll be cool because I'm interested in what that looked like and what that experience brought out in him. He's a good kid. I grew up with him in Waltham, Massachusetts, and I'm interested in hearing more about that. Um, so it'll be really cool. Frank in Texas, howdy. Another Canada, Indiana, Cottonwood, Arizona. We got people from all over in here. Um, if you guys, and when I say you guys, I do it all the time, and I apologize. When I say you guys, I mean everybody. I don't mean you men. If anyone has thought of anything that they would like to know, or you want to shoot questions, Alexander lived in Boston for years. I lived in Waltham for 30, 31. Melbourne, Australia. Artemis, we've been emailing back and forth. All right, Artie, I appreciate you big time. Thank you, Marie. Is that the Megan I can tell you about? Yes, I can. Megan is moderating this for me, and I guess so. That's the first question. It's the first question that I've encountered, and I thought that I'm gonna sit her down and do an episode with her. But Megan was actually the first woman that I dated after my divorce. I waited 6 months to even really speak to women because I didn't want to take out the frustration and insecurities and anger and stuff that I had from my divorce on someone who didn't deserve it. But Megan is the first girl that I dated after my divorce, and here we are. Things have been things have been really great. I got really lucky. She upgrades every part of my life, and I am eternally grateful to her and for, to my God for bringing her into my life, for putting me in her life, however that went. I'm really blessed, and she's picking up the slack. So, like I've said before, I haven't been working for about I'd say 2 months, and she's stepped up huge, and she's really picking up the slack and allowing me to do this. And she supports me in doing this, where I think a lot of people, a lot of partners would say, stop horsing around and just go get a normal job. She's um she's allowing me to explore this, and I'm very lucky. Tori? That's a good question. How did I deal with sexual abuse, and what was the healing? I mean, the healing was a really long process. I wouldn't even know how to put that into concise words. But realistically, I dealt with my sexual abuse through poor behavior, through sexual questioning and insecurity. My sexual abuse caused me to question myself, to question. From questioning my sexuality, to questioning my morals, to questioning my self worth, um, whether or not I was a coward because I didn't do anything about it as a boy. Um, it made me question everything. And then it made it very hard once I got into relationships with women. It made it really difficult in the beginning. Um, because when I closed my eyes, my mind didn't know that I was safe with a woman, so it caused problems. The healing, honestly, the healing started with drugs. I was able to forget about that stuff with drugs, but then once I stopped using, the healing, well, I talked about it earlier today. The healing came with step work, group therapy, one-on-one therapy, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, breath work, sound baths, sweat lodges. I was open to anything. But trusting another man, I think, was the biggest thing. Trusting another man and not having them betray me or hurt me or want anything from me sexually. I think that made a lot of room for healing for me. I think. Let's see. So it's kind of sometimes it's hard for me to keep up with you guys. You guys are quick. Alexander, if you doze off, that's okay. I'm here. We're here with you. What just happened? Solo sinner, man. God. All right. Solo sinner. Have I had to deal with the loss of cutting off a crucial friendship or relationship because it would have jeopardized my recovery? So, man, recently, yeah, actually, within right before I started this podcast, I have a dear friend who I love, and my love for him didn't change. I started a podcast with my friend Hutch. It exists on YouTube, Jack and Hutch. There's 3 episodes. Um, and it was great. It was a lot of fun making those episodes, and seeing him all the time was a blast. He just and he himself is not in like a dangerous place, or he's not, in any sort of situation where I would directly be in danger around him. But some of the people, he still has some people in his life that I could probably muscle through it and be around. Um, but just for my own safety, because I have a lot to lose. I have my son. I only see him half the time. I don't want that to be any less. I don't want to lose Megan. I don't want to lose the respect of my mother. I had to, and again, not through any fault of his own, but I had to stop going over there to make that podcast, and it was hard. We had a hard conversation, and I repeated to him, like, listen, I love you, and we can do this later. Um, but right now, I just need to hold some boundaries that are uncomfortable, and that I really don't enjoy holding, but like I set them. And to be fair to myself, I have to do that. That's the most recent one. And it sucks. I don't like it, and I don't like that we don't talk to each other on like a daily or every other day basis currently. But things change. People come around. He knows he's a grown up. He's a great dad. He's a great friend. He doesn't need to do. That's not what he just when our paths line up again, we will do that. But that's the most recent one. Um, but yeah, I've had to cut up all sorts of relationships I've had to cut off. Childhood friends who are normal people who use drugs like in a normal fashion. They can do a little cocaine on the weekend once a month. I just can't. I end up using needles. Like I'm just not a I can't party like that. Tori asked, how long did the sexual abuse last? So in my whole life, from age 4 to 12, some stuff was going on. And then when that stopped from 13 to 15 with my coach and teacher who I spoke about, Dace. So from 4 to 15 ish. Um, yeah, it was, but through all that, I had such a beautiful childhood. Like I've had such a great life. Um, which is probably sounds weird. Maybe it doesn't, but I'm able to see the blessings that I've had and the positivity that just the I mean, it's a miracle that I'm alive, and I appreciate that, and I try not to take that for granted. So I try to look on the bright side of things, even when it might not seem like there is one. Yeah, dude, Brad, Hutch is the man. Hutch is I love Hutch, and we will get back together. I just he's focusing on his t-shirt company, and I respect that, and I helped him with that, and I'm focusing on this, and we will come back together. Fucking love that man so much. And again, Solo Center, thank you so much for the generosity, dude. It's so crazy. And for helping me with the thumbnails, man. Alexander. So often suspect that it's because you were somehow abused as a child and simply don't recall. So Alexander, I don't think being gay, I don't think childhood, and this is just my opinion. I was sexually abused as a child from a male, and I, I'm I prefer women. I don't, but I also know a lot of people in recovery who I've talked to who had stuff happen when they were kids, but I've never heard them say that it changed anything in them. That's I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist by like I don't know clinically enough of that stuff, but I don't know. That's a great question. If I had more knowledge on that, I I don't know, man. I also know of a gay man who went to prison, and he's out now, and he's big into the Bible and Jesus, and he felt that what he was doing was a sin, so he tried to like curb that and not indulge in that because he felt like Jesus frowned upon it, but eventually he realized that Jesus loves him just the way he is, and that he was wrong for thinking that. And again, this is not I'm in no position to judge anybody on what they do or what's right and wrong or what way to follow Jesus is correct. That's just a personal story that I know of that. I mean, God loves you. If you're not hurting anybody, and I mean, you're true to yourself and you treat people with respect and dignity and love, in my opinion, I can't speak for Jesus or anyone else. In my opinion, you're doing the right thing. Give yourself a break. Should you see a male or female therapist? I've seen both. I do better with females. That's just me. I'm not sure if it matters. What brought me to Southern California? Marie, Southern California, I came out here for drug treatment from Massachusetts, and it worked. And the first time, so I came out here in 2016. My clean date is in 2017. So I obviously, there's some I came out here in 2016 in January. I got 8 months clean. And then I visited home for Christmas. No, it was before that. It was around my birthday. I got 8 months clean. I went home and visited, and I overdosed. It's just not a safe place for me. Um, I don't know. Am I ever going to move back? Charlestown's a crazy place. No, I don't think I'll ever move back. My son's here. My girlfriend, who I plan on spending the rest of my life with, is here. I can't imagine. My mother's out here. I can't imagine anything bringing me back to Massachusetts off the top of my head. Yeah, California's the place to be. Was I raised a Christian? I was raised Irish Catholic, but it didn't sink in. It didn't sink in. I got more spiritual and religious in my recovery. 100%, Lisa. Who dat? I appreciate you. Larry, I'm sorry to hear that. Truly. We've all, even people, I mean, almost everybody that I know has lost someone to the disease. I mean, I lost 5 friends in 7 days at one point in 2017. It's my son's sister. I had a stepdaughter when I was married. My son's sister, her father passed last week from the disease, and it's no one's immune. I mean, it's just it doesn't discriminate. Rich, poor, fat, skinny, young, old. Addiction doesn't care. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I agree, Brad. Our paths will cross again. Marie, what brought me to Southern California? I got you on that one. Let me see. Let's see. Ghost Shirt Society. My drug of choice is heroin. If there was a table full of all the drugs in the world, opiates are my thing. I'm an IV opiate drug user when I use. It's been a while, but yeah, if there's a table full of drugs, I'm choosing opiates. Boo, boo, boo. 10 different people could name chapter. So Boston, Mass, 781. I have a Venmo, but I actually set up. I got some emails from some people that asked me if I had a PayPal. I do have a PayPal. I do have a Venmo if that's, but I set up a PayPal specifically for this. And listen, I never ever would expect anyone to donate like that. You guys showing up and watching my content and then liking it or even commenting on it is support. That is supporting me in my book. I do have a Venmo and I do have a PayPal that I'll figure out a way to get that out to people without I don't know, it makes me feel some sort of way like I just wanna help people, and I wanna be with you guys in things like this and put out a message of positivity and love and caring. And it's crazy that people want to support me in that way, and I love you for it. Don't get me wrong. I It's amazing. Eternally grateful. Yes, I will see if I can get Megan. Alexander, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll see if I can get Megan to post a Venmo and PayPal for people for sure. I appreciate you guys so much. Let's see. Megan Lewis doing God's work. I mean, she puts up with me on a daily basis. I agree. Brian M., you're at work, my man. I appreciate you being here. Matthew, I think that's how Matthew Meng, London. Crazy. I appreciate you being here. Megan dropping the hammer. Brian M., again, man, you rock. Thank you so much. God, you guys are everybody's so generous. I really appreciate it. Bob Morrow, will I be considering writing my story? So I'm not a very good writer. Uh, I didn't go to college. I don't know. I don't have those skills. Um, Tori, 32 years, my man, out of control. Bob, I've always wanted to like write a book or have someone write a book. I don't know what the process looks like. I would love to be a part of that. It would make me happy to be a part of that. If people, yeah, I would love to do something like that. I just don't know how. If I'm being honest with you, it's so funny. Chukwu Henry, people keep asking me about my tattoos. It's all Celtic, which is Irish. Um, you know, us, being Irish, God, my last name, trees, a lily because a lily's my favorite flower, but a tree with like a full moon in the background and clouds. I just really like trees. It's interesting that people ask about my tattoos, and I got my grandfather's name across the top of my back, Bumpa. Um, Billy Durbin. No, it doesn't suck. That young kid Jack Doherty's, he's killing life. He's like 17 and he's a millionaire. I mean, good for him. I hope he lives it up, man. I wish I had his bank account for sure. Alexander, I really appreciate it. So you're too good to me, man. Heard last stream someone asking, but yeah, Brad, someone asked if I would set up a PO box so they could send me presents, which is, I guess some people might be like, that's crazy, but I think that's the sweetest thing in the world. Like somebody wants to send, because at the same time they're not asking for my home address, which is respectful. Like, hey, would you set up a PO box? I'm not trying to know where you live. I'm just trying to send you something nice. That's crazy. It's incredibly generous and thoughtful. It's just everyone in here is just really reaffirming my belief in people, and I really appreciate that. Would I consider, Megan? I think I got that one. Would I consider writing a book? I mean, if I was a better writer, absolutely. Get back to work, Brian. I appreciate you. Tori in New York, I appreciate you. And this is me putting myself out there, man. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know where to draw that line, but for now, I'm giving everybody everything I got. Marie, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Hi, Carrie. Tell us about Bumpa. So Bumpa was my grandfather. I have his name tattooed across my back. Bumpa was everything to me. He was basically, I looked at him like he was my dad. I grew up in a three-family house. I lived in a studio with my mom. It was just a kitchen, a living room, and a bathroom. The bathroom and kitchen and the living room was the living room, but it was also my mother's bedroom, and it was my bedroom, and it was my playroom. I lived in that studio till I was 9. And then my great grandfather who lived downstairs passed, and we moved next door, I guess. But Bummer and Bumpa, my grandparents always lived upstairs, my mother's parents. Bumpa taught me about work ethic, and Bumpa taught me about the Red Sox, and I would watch Red Sox games with him. He worked for the Boston Gas Company like his whole life, and he also had a second and a third job at one point. But he would um, wallpaper apartment buildings. He was a meter reader for the Boston Gas Company. He was everything, man. He was this little guy. He had a garden. Taught me about patience, and he was just very kind. My Bumpa actually dropped out of school in like 7th grade because his father was an alcoholic, my great grandfather, and so Bumpa dropped out of middle school to work to help his family. Um, I'm named after his brother Jack, who died in a helicopter accident back in like World War II ish era. Um, Died in a helicopter accident. I'm named after his brother Jack. But yeah, Bumper was the best. Bumper was the Bumper was my dad. He was my role model. But he was an older guy. He's like a little Mighty Mouse for me. Tom, good to see you twice today too, my man. Titanic, I mean, I'm new. There were 2 time slots. I'm doing the best I can. Andrew, oh my God, my cousin Andrew's in here. That's the wildest thing in the world. I love you, buddy. I hope your 2 kids are doing great. Tell Bree I said I love her too. Did I learn patience? Did my parents feel guilty about not protecting you during Marie, that's a good question. No. Well, yes, but throughout that whole thing, if you watch my earlier videos, you'll see my mother all the time would ask me, "Hey, is there anything weird going on?" Like, you'd tell me, right? And I'd be like, "Of course I'd tell you. What are you talking about? Yeah, of course I would tell you." Like, I went out of my way to make sure that nobody I didn't want any I don't know. I don't know how to explain it other than like I didn't want anybody to know that like I allowed myself to be in that situation, that like I allowed that to happen to myself. So I didn't no, I didn't tell anybody. But I was asked all the time, and I like gaslit my mom and made her feel like she was crazy for asking me, if I'm being honest with you. Be like, "No, you out of your mind? Like everybody knows this guy. Everybody likes him." No, yeah, I'm sure she has a lot of guilt. I can't answer for her, but it was, times were crazy, man. It was Bob Morrill. God, thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. Thank you. Man, you guys are too good to me. Did I learn patience? Milton, yeah. I learned patience. I mean, I started to learn patience from Bumpa, but I've been learning a lot more about patience with my son and being in a healthy relationship with a woman who like calls me on my shit. It's not easy. I'm used to skating. As a young person, I skated by on like the way I looked or like being an athlete or like being popular. And that stuff doesn't matter when you're an adult. I mean, I guess it might matter a little bit, but like being in a healthy relationship isn't easy, but it's so rewarding and it's worth it. And again, I'm the luckiest man around to be alive, to be here doing this with everyone. The fact that you guys are this generous and support me like this is mind blowing to me. I mean, there was a time there was a time where I was living in a park, like asking people for spare change, eating out of dumpsters. Like this is beyond, the program man says that get a life beyond your wildest dreams. And for a long time I thought that was stupid. But this right now, what I'm doing is beyond anything that I could have ever comprehended being a part of. I have not read Body Keeps the Score. I've been asked that a lot. I have not. What is it do I think that made me lie to my mom or not feel safe enough to tell her the truth? I think I just went over that. The only thing I could relate it to is like, so I know I was a kid, but like I thought I was an adult. Like I thought I was invincible and I thought that I could take care of myself. I guess I could only relate it to being in like a toxic relationship or an abusive relationship and like you don't want your friends to know that you would put yourself in that situation and put up with it. So you just pretend like everything's okay. Cuz maybe things will just smooth out. That's off the top of my head that's the best I got. Let's see. Bryant Sanders, I appreciate that. Yeah, Marie, being in a healthy relationship is a lot of work. Let me see. Quebec, Andre, I appreciate you being here. What would I say my first response if an urge or temptation comes up? If I get tempted, so it's an awesome question because it happens. Sometimes I have dreams, I have using dreams. Sometimes I go through uncomfortable feelings in life that I don't like and I want them to stop. And um, my immediate response to a craving or like being tempted as far as like getting high, my first response is to try and my immediate response is to try and figure out like why what's that about? Why do I um sometimes I can identify it, sometimes I can't. Sometimes it's just a fleeting thought, but if I can identify it like uh I guess an example would be like um it's hard. The last time that I've actually wanted to get high was uh, like my divorce stuff, and I obviously knew that was what was causing it. So I reached out to people that I trust and that I love, and I told them how I was feeling, and they got real with me. Like, okay, I understand you want to get high. How is that going to help? And I'd tell them, well, it'll ease my suffering a little bit. And they're like, okay, but you also won't have your son, and that'll give her Frankie, relax, bud. That'll also give her ammunition to take your kid away from you if you can't pass a drug test. And they just, and they stayed on the phone with me for however long it took until I was like, I'm okay. But my initial response is to figure out where it's coming from if I can, and then to call somebody. And I know it's so cliche. Everybody says you got to call somebody, but like I have people that I trust that I can call. I'm very lucky that I've built relationships in my community where I can trust that. Like I'm not going to get judged. I'm not going to call somebody and say, "Hey man, I want to get high," and they're going to be like, "Oh, go ahead, you." See, typical. I knew this would happen eventually. Like I don't deal with any of that in my life. My friends care about me and they love me and they don't want me doing things like that, so they'll investigate with me. They'll help me investigate the darkness and see what's going on because they want what's best for me. Hope that answers your question. Antonio, thank you, I appreciate that. Scottish, my man. Am I able to sense people struggling with addiction? Hmm. Solo sinner, am I able to sense people struggling with addiction that may not be so readily obvious to others? Yes. I mean, yeah, it happens at Megan all the time. We'll be talking to somebody. We'll be walking the dog, and someone will stop, and we'll talk to him for a second. I'll be like, "Man, that dude was really on some opiates." She's like, "Really? You seem fine." Yes, I can tell when somebody's high, or when. I mean, I don't know if I can tell when someone's struggling. I can tell when somebody's high. I can tell when somebody's not telling the truth. I can tell when somebody's hiding something. Um, have I ever had to intervene before their family's relationships were impacted? I had the opportunity with Riley, but I didn't. I thought he was going to be okay. My best friend Riley that passed on a relapse. I had the opportunity to intervene, but I didn't. He had 5 years of recovery in him, and he knew what needed to be done. And there was just no. As far as intervening, no, I don't believe I needed to decide that I needed help. I don't know if I could help somebody that doesn't want it. I haven't really intervened on people like that. Although I've had opportunities, I haven't. Approach. uh, yeah, my first response should be call my sponsor. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's call Daniel or call Ian, other people in recovery. But you're right, Tori. You're right. Titanic, will you tell us about somebody who was a light when I was at rock bottom? Yeah. Um, let's see. So there have been a few. Um, my cousin, although she's not my cousin by blood, I call her my cousin. Her name's Erin. She let me stay at her place on an air mattress, and she like really helped me out with some things when I was not doing well. Um, a childhood friend Ashley from North Attleboro. She gave me a place to stay for a little while and like didn't ask anything of me. Um, and she knew that I was doing bad. She took me to treatment before. She drove me to treatment. I have a cousin Corey who actually drove me to my first. My family had an intervention when I was 23. She drove me to my first um, detox. I mean, realistically, my mom never gave up on me. She would always answer the phone. She would always talk to me. I couldn't live at home eventually because I was a danger to anyone in that house. Like I was a thief and a manipulator and a liar. So I couldn't be there because, I through my own actions, it wasn't like people gave up on me. Um, but my mom always loved me. I forced her to love me from a distance with my behaviors. But yeah, the people that I've mentioned, those are the ones that come to mind. immediately. Um, I those are the ones that come to mind. There's probably more, and I'm sorry if I'm not mentioning you. I apologize. Frank in Texas, I appreciate you, my man. Make it to your your doctor's appointment on time. Let's see. Non-addicts that feel like situations are going through. Any advice for non-addicts that feel like situations they're going through makes you want to start? Man, Jesus. Let me say that there's never there drugs for me just it just delayed. All drugs did, honestly, was delay me growing up and becoming a man. Started using drugs at 19. I stopped at like 31, 32. I basically started my life as a 19-year-old at 31 or 32 because nothing in between happened. And I have to pause for 30 seconds. I have to use the bathroom. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I have to pause. I'm so sorry, guys. I did not. Again, sometimes I don't plan very well, and we haven't made dinner yet, and we rushed to the grocery store, and I had to. I apologize. I had to use the bathroom. I should have planned better. I'm sorry, Megan. I know. I know. Monica, Monica Bagby. That's okay. I appreciate you. You show up every time, and you support me like crazy. Did I ever have a so Megan just sent me a question that I missed. Did I ever have a rock bottom or were there multiple? There were a few. Um, I mean, I guess my first bottom was when my family had an intervention on me. That was horrible. Uh, then having to live in my car, lived in my car for about 8 months. That was a bottom. Um, and then I nodded out driving on the highway in the rain and got into a little bit of an accident. My car caught on fire, and so that was totaled. And then I was actually homeless. I didn't consider myself homeless when I had a vehicle to live in because it was like a little house on wheels. But I would say, yeah, I would say my bottom was actually being homeless, sleeping in parks and on the street and eating out of the trash and asking people for like if they could spare money and stuff. Yeah, I would say that was my bottom. But yeah, there were a few, and they progressively got worse. Like like they talk about, it gets worse. Um, yeah, those were my bottoms. It was I keep saying it. I'm very lucky to be where I am today. Let's see. Yeah, Brad, I apologize, guys. I apologize that I had to run to the bathroom. Again, this whole thing that I'm doing is so not planned or scheduled or written out. Like the only thing that I have scheduled for this whole podcast were these lives today because when I tell you, like, I'm, this is, I've never done this before. I've been doing it a little over a month. and I'm just bringing what I have, and what I have is inexperience with doing this, but experience with life, and I'm just trying to share what I have. And I promise you, I will get better. I will get better at coordinating, and I will get better at interviewing people. Um, I'll get better with scheduling these things. I'll get better with all of it. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy being honest, and I appreciate everyone that's along for the ride. Every one of you. There's 50 people in here, and that's craziness. And I'm so sorry that I had to take a 30-second bathroom break. All right, let me see. Monica Bagby, I appreciate you. It's okay. Do what you got to do. Arcos, I appreciate that. Brochacho, have I tried intense prayer to overcome temptation out loud, almost sounding like a maniac? No, I pray all the time. I pray all the time. I mean, whether under my breath, whether out loud, whether it's with other people out loud, um, whether it's listening to some worship music. I mean, I pray often. Most of the time in my head, sometimes under my breath, sometimes I just move my mouth, but I pray out loud. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not ashamed to pray. Praying works. Praying works. God is great. Tori, I never, Tori, that's a good question. I never got Hep C. I shared needles for sure. Tori, I picked up needles off the street in Brockton, Massachusetts, where I didn't know where they came from and used them. I mean, I was a gutter junkie for a while. No, never had hepatitis C. Like I keep saying, I've been blessed beyond measure. I'm very, very lucky. Tom, would I consider interviewing my mom? Would I consider it? Yes. I'd also consider running for president. Each one of those probably has the same likelihood of happening. I don't I don't know that I don't know that my mother would she doesn't even like taking pictures with me. She doesn't she's not like a camera person, but we'll see. Maybe maybe who knows. Let's see. Adam Bowles. Thank you so much. Yeah, the softwood underbelly. I was proud of that. It wasn't I didn't say stuff for very many things to be proud of, but I was proud that I was able to clearly share my story and in the end kind of give a message of hope. Thank you. Appreciate that. What was the most important lesson that my mother taught me? Jeez. I think the most important my mother's taught me so much, but if I'm in my opinion, I think the most important lesson that my mother taught me among all the lessons that my mother taught me was how to treat women. I think that at a very early age my mother told me that women are not playthings, um, that they're not to be toyed with. Like, if I don't actually like a girl, don't pretend like I like her. And women deserve respect. And I think the way that my mother taught me to treat women was probably the most useful, the most practical and valuable thing that she ever taught me. And I mean, my mother taught me how to throw. My mom taught me how to throw a baseball. Um, it was me and her. She taught me, but I think that's the most important lesson that my mother taught me is how to treat women, because women deserve the utmost respect. Honestly, I mean, sticking with that, how to treat women. She did a good job with that. Randy, it's good to meet you too. It's your first night here. I appreciate you. Welcome in. You're in the right place. You're in the right place. Thank you so much. I don't know how you found me, but I am thankful that you did. Check out some videos, but stick around. All right. Would I ever interview my girlfriend, Kevin Merrill? Would I ever interview my girlfriend? I would like to. She would have to agree, but yeah, I think I plan on it 100%. I think we could have some deep, open, honest conversations on this. Yeah, but yeah, I would love for you guys to get to know her with me. 100%. I know I know a lot of things, but I bet I would hear stuff that I don't know. Yeah, I love picking and prodding and finding out stuff about her is the best. That's how we deepen our relationship. And we're honest with each other, so it's great. And I think that she would be honest. I think she would, yeah, she comes as she is. She's very honest. She owns who she is. She's proud of who she is. She's done a lot of work herself. I always say that she's more emotionally intelligent than I am, and I think I'm pretty solid. But I mean, she levels me up all the time, even when I don't want to level up. She's a special woman. Randy, 3 years on Wednesday. Heck yeah! All right, good for you. That's huge. 3 years was I couldn't even comprehend 3 years a long time ago. I couldn't comprehend. I mean, 30 days was hard. 3 years is a long time. Congratulations. More action than this morning, Monica Baggy. It's loud where you are. That's okay. That's okay. I appreciate you being here, Monica, and your generosity is greatly appreciated. Honestly, thank you, Gerardo Castillo. I appreciate you appreciating what I'm doing on YouTube. It's not easy. It's not comfortable, but I'm doing the best that I can. Marie Anderson, was my dad in my life? No, I do not. I know everyone has one. Like physiologically, um, did not have one. I was not the product of like a healthy, loving relationship. No, it's just me and my mom. My mother was quite an extraordinary parent, Adam. 100%. Very well said. Let's see. Boston Mass 781 would like to hear from Megan on how to be supportive while encouraging accountability and continued healing and growth. That is something we will talk about for sure. The perspective and the ideas and the depth of questioning that comes from the people that come to these and that comment on my videos is outstanding. It's so good. I would love to hear about that too. It's so good. She definitely does not enable poor behavior in any way. Let's see. Accountability. I try to pride myself on accountability. It usually sucks. I don't like doing it, but that's the only way to grow, and it's the only way to acknowledge, accountability. You're acknowledging the things, my shortcomings. Like if I want to improve, my strengths are my strengths. Like the only way that I get better is to work on my weaknesses. Like a team with only offense can't win a game. You have to have some defense. And if you need to work on the defense because your offense is great, focus on the defense. If your offense is great, your offense is going to be great. Working on the defense isn't going to make your offense worse. Accountability is just, and again, I don't like it. I just practice it because I need to. I make a lot of mistakes. I fall short pretty often. But Little Rock, Arkansas, heck yeah. My girlfriend, Bam, is my girlfriend from the West Coast. Yes, she's a Cali girl, 100%, and it's great. She gets cold when it's 70 degrees out. It's hilarious. But yeah, she's a sweetheart. She's from California. My story has the potential to help many. I like to believe so. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. And people that are in these that comment on my videos, that watch and comment and email me and come to these, help me just as much as I've helped anybody. This isn't a one-way street. This isn't just me sharing what I have with other people. Half of the people that are subscribed to this share back with me. It's so valuable. Stuff like this is so valuable. I would be a fool to not keep going or to keep trying or to it's been amazing, and I've only been doing it a month. It's so good. I love I love this journey, and I love that everybody is here on the journey with me. What are some of the things that make me happy? Artie, what are some of the things that make me happy? Um, Easy answers. Um, Being financially sound. My son, my friends, my family. Those are pretty common, easy answers to what makes me happy. Um, Digging a little deeper, what makes me happy is like deep conversations. Um, exercise makes me happy. Intimacy, like I'm big on intimacy. Intimacy makes me really happy in like all sorts of ways. Um, Being there for someone when uh, when they're in need makes me happy. Getting out in the sun, getting a tan makes me really happy. Um, Watching my son do something like use his manners and like chew with his mouth closed, like little things like that make me happy. Um, Catching Megan looking at like if we're out somewhere to dinner or something, or we're with her friends, and I catch her looking at me, and she like has a look where she's like proud that I'm there with her, that makes me happy. This honestly, doing this right now makes me happy. Being able to sit here and I don't want to say create because it's not like I created it. I just opened the space. Like having this community with everyone makes me happy. And I think my did I freeze? My video shows that I froze. Let me see. This regardless of whether I froze or not. This makes me happy doing this. All those things make me happy. Yeah, I froze. Let me see. I don't know. And guys, I don't know how to fix this. I'm not a technical wizard. I'm gonna try. Anyone in here has ever done a live broadcast where it goes out and you know how to fix it? Listen, I'm gonna take me having to use the bathroom while I was doing this live and now this freezing on me as a sign. Listen, everyone that came to this, I appreciate you beyond belief. I'm gonna I'll schedule another live. I know you guys can hear me. It's just I'm staring at a picture of me making a horrible face, and I it's super weird. I love you guys. I appreciate all your support, watching my videos, liking my videos, coming to my lives, commenting. Commenting is so important to me because it lets me know where you're at. The generosity that you guys have shown is just out of control. I'm gonna have Megan share with you guys what you asked about earlier in case it's something that you guys want to do. Listen, guys and girls, everyone, I love you. I appreciate you coming here. I'm having technical difficulties. Obviously, I'm staring at a horrible frozen picture of my face. Thank you guys for everything. I love you guys. You guys have a good night.